Hi everyone, my name is Hridhand and I welcome you with a very big heart on Let's Talk. Very important question. Do you like interacting with people? Well, if you do, then let me tell you, today's lesson is for you. Because in today's lesson, we're going to be talking about everyday English phrases that you can use as you interact with people day in and day out. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. The first phrase in the list that we have is age before beauty. Well, everybody knows what is age and what is beauty. But if you put them together with a before, what does it mean? It means to give preference to an older person. That means if there are two people, one person is beautiful and the other person is a little old but with brains and more experience of life. And if somebody has to choose amongst these two people, the person would go for an old one who's got experience of life. That is the situation wherein we use this phrase age before beauty. Let's see how we can use it in the form of an example here. She, she handed over the piece of cake to him, saying, age before beauty. So there was a cake, and it was, let's say, a birthday party, or let's say the celebration of a new organization. And the cake cutting ceremony happened, and the person actually offered the cake to not the one who was beautiful, but to the one who had more experience. And so the person said, age before beauty. That means I give preference to one's knowledge and experience of life rather than the beauty. Let us move on to the next phrase. The next one is acid test. You must have heard about acid rain, and what is an acid? It is a chemical of a sort. But what is an acid test? It means a critical experiment. What is a critical experiment? Critical is important. That tells us the reality of something. For example, if you're interacting with somebody, you can say, it was a critical experiment. It was an acid test. It was an acid test. For example, the acid test of an artist is whether he remains calm or not when he or she receives criticism. That means the real test of an artist is, an important test of an artist's personality is when somebody criticizes that person. And that person in that situation has to show how calm he or she is. And that is when you actually prove the acid test of being a real artist. You can use this situation not just for artists, this phrase, but for any kind of situation, for any kind of person, whenever it is a critical, important test of one's reality. Let's see the next one. I don't buy it. What is I don't buy it? I don't buy doesn't mean I don't want to purchase it. It means to disagree. So if you disagree with somebody on something, you can just simply say, I don't buy it, I'm afraid. I don't buy it. For example, my father says that his latest schemes will make millions, but I don't buy it. So probably, let's say the father is a multi-millionaire or maybe a politician, and the son says, I disagree with him. I don't buy him because I see some flaws in it, might as well. So whenever you have to disagree with somebody on something, you can say, I don't buy it. The next one is appeal to. Appeal is more like a legal term, but a lot of people use it in our daily lives when they interact with each other. And it basically means to make a request, to make a polite. Formal request. And if you're a bit of a drama queen, you can say, I appeal to you, please do that. It basically has an example here which will tell us the clarity of it. The government appealed to the crowd to make a silent protest. That means the government, there was something bad that was going on, and the people were protesting, and the government came out in response to that and appealed to. It is a bit of a formal example. Let's say, let's take a casual example. The students appealed to the teacher to give them an extra break for the day. The students appealed to the teacher to give them an extra break for the day. Appeal to is to make a request, polite, formal request. Have you ever appealed to somebody or appealed to somebody recently? If you've done so, please do let me know in the comment section below by writing an example and using the phrase appeal to. Let us now move to the next phrase. The next one is come across. How can we use come across in the form of in an interaction basically with people? It basically means someone or something that comes to you by chance. So that wasn't planned. That just happened to you on a snap. And what is it? How can we use that in an example? She came across one of her childhood toys. That means she accidentally found by chance one of her childhood toys while cleaning the storeroom. Such a beautiful situation. I'm sure must have happened to a lot of you as well. So when something happens to you by chance, that's when you use the phrase in the form of interactions. Came across, for example, you went to Starbucks for a coffee and you actually ran into your friend. You can say, I came across my friend from my school. Let's say from my A levels, I came across at my friend today at Starbucks. That's how you can use came across. Let us now move to the next phrase used for interactions. Don't joke with me. Now, if you see here, I have put an exclamation. How can we use that and what does it mean? It basically means to ask someone to realize the seriousness of the matter. So somebody is being really casual and is not being really serious about an important matter, and you're saying to that person with an exclamation and a strong voice, don't joke with me. That means to please focus on what we are talking about. For example, don't joke with me, please. I need his address right away. One important thing that I'd like to address here is the pronunciation of address. Do we put the stress on the first part or the second part? Is it address or is it address? Now, for example, I am addressing this example to you, which has somebody's address in it. That means when it is a verb, the stress is on the second part. When it is a noun, that means somebody's home's name, number, etc., the stress is on the first part. At the moment, I'm addressing this example, and what is your address? Coming back to the same, don't joke with me as an exclamation to be used when somebody is not serious about something. I hope you've understood this. Let us now move to the next phrase used for interactions. Fact of the matter. Fact of the matter means the truth of something. Truth, something that is not a lie, something that is the fact. Let's see in an example. The fact of the matter is that you were